My name's Evie Lee, and today we're going to learn a little bit more about the Young Coders competition that you guys might have heard about a little bit before. There's going to be opportunity for you to ask some questions and also to give us some answers as well. We do have our lovely STEM ambassador, Maha Javed, who is also here today.
Hi, everyone.
And they are a STEM ambassador who works in coding and finance. So we're just going to go through a little bit about the competition first, and then I'll pass you over to them so they can teach you a little bit more about finance and coding. So we are on a mission. We are looking for children all around the country who think they've got what it takes to be in the Young Coders Crew 2025. Never coded? No problem. Don't even know what coding is? No problem. All you need is determination, perseverance, and some teammates to be in your crew. But what is a coder? I want you to type in the chat, what do you think a coder is? I'll give you a minute or two to type in the chat what you think a coder might be. What do you think they do? What do you think they might use? So Rosemary Works School thinks someone who programs digital things, making games and animating. St. Jerome think someone who designs games. A coder is a person who writes code. Coding makes things move and animate. Cedar Class thinks someone who writes scripts for digital things, like playing Scratch. Right, let's have a find out. And I think our STEM ambassador might go into a little bit more detail as well. So what is a coder? A coder is someone who creates things using a computer. All computers need code, and it can make them do anything from controlling your microwave to the apps on your tablet or your phone or the games that you make on your computer. That's what coders do. They make those. Does that sound interesting? Well, this is a countrywide competition looking for young people who have the skills to be crowned the Young Coders Crew for this year. The Young Coders competition is open for children aged between 8 and 13, so you need to be in year 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. You could enter as an individual or as a team of 2 to 6 people. So you could do it at school as one person or with a team of your classmates, or you could go home and do it with your parents or at a STEM club, an after-school STEM club in your area. But to enter, you must create a game using Scratch and have an adult submit your entry on the website. And look at that Scratch cat at the bottom. That's what you'd be using, Scratch, if you've ever seen that before. So, prizes. One bonus of this competition is that you get to win prizes. How cool is that? So each winning child will get the prestige of having the Young Coders title for a whole year. And you also get a personalised trophy. How cool is that? The winning UK schools also get to win prize money. So this is first place, you get £200, second place, £100, and third place, you could get £50. And your school could use that to buy you some books on coding, or they could buy you some technology to help you with your coding and computing. They might even buy you sweets. How cool is that? It's completely up to your school if you win. And everyone who enters will receive a certificate of participation and feedback from the judges. So if you don't win this time, you get people who have actually done coding. They actually work as a coder. They will give you feedback on what they loved and what you can do better next time. So if you didn't win this time, you can win next time, maybe. This year's theme is budgeting better. What do you think that might mean? Have you ever bought anything with any money that you've had to save up for? And I've just seen in the chat, we are home educating, so can we still enter? Yes, home educating students can still enter. You'll just need to nominate kind of a local community if you win the money. This year's theme is budgeting better. The challenge is about creating a game using Scratch to teach other children about budgeting better. And the 6R Superstars have said, we use our pocket money to budget and buy what we want. So imagine creating games that teach your friends how to save, spend, and manage money wisely. So imagine building a game where your players can go to work and save up for their dream toy. They might go on shopping adventures, or they could start their own business. Think of something like a Roblox game where you get to make money and then you get to spend it once you've made the money. But the more creative and fun your game, the better. We want to see what you've got in your brilliant minds. We hope that this theme sparks your interest in making smarter financial choices. So that means you need to be thinking about how your money is spent well. You can understand the value of money. How much is £1 worth? How much can you get from £1? And saving for your goals. Just like Wheatfield Primary says, budgeting better means spending your money efficiently. So, are you ready to become a money master? Well, here's your chance. Now, we're going to have Maha do their chat. So, Maha is a coding expert, and they're going to tell you a little bit about coding in finance.
Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Maha and I work as a developer at a bank. So a developer is someone who writes special instruction for computers and this is called coding. Just like you tell a friend how to play a game, a developer tells a computer what to do by writing a code. I started coding when I was 12 years old and I loved solving puzzles and figuring out how things work. Coding is just like solving a puzzle. You give the computer instructions and it follows them step by step. Coding is used in so many things today. When you play a video game, coding makes sure the character moves. When you use a phone or a computer, coding helps app run. And when people use money, whether online, with a card, or even on their phones, coding makes sure everything works smoothly and safely. Now, I use coding to help banks. Every time someone sends money, check their savings, or pay using their phone, there is coding working behind the scene to make sure it all happens safely. Today, we are going to learn how money and technology have changed over time and how coding make everything work. So let's start with something fun. Imagine you want to teach a robot to dance. You have to tell it exactly what to do. If you say to do the robot like spin around and clap, the robot will follow your command. But what if you forget to say stop? The robot might just keep spinning forever. That is because robots and computers can only follow the instruction we give to them. They don't think on their own. Coding is same. When we want a computer to do something, we have to give it step by step instructions. If we want a video game character to jump, we have to give the character the instruction to jump. Just put it in the chat like if you have ever tried coding before. Yes or no?
I will read out any answers that anybody types in the chat just for ease. So Wheatfield Primary says yes.
Yes. So what did you make? What was the first thing you make when you were coding?
So one teacher says we've tried Scratch Maze Game. Somebody said traffic lights. They've done Scratch and Logo. One class says we code all the time.
Okay, that's so good. So now, some of you are already aware of coding. Now, on the next slide, we will talk about how we use it in finance. So, what is finance? Let's talk about money. Finance is just a word for how we use our money, how we earn it, how we save it, and how we spend it. So, a long time ago, years ago, people didn't have money like we do today. Instead, they used to trade things. Imagine if you had apples, but you wanted new pair of shoes. You would have to find someone who needed apples and was willing to give you their shoes in exchange. This was called bartering, but it wasn't always easy. What if the person with shoes didn't want apples? What if they wanted something else instead? Trading becomes difficult because people had to find the perfect match for what they wanted. So people invented coins. They were made of gold and silver. These were small, easy to carry, and everyone agreed that they had some value. This made trading much easier. Now, instead of carrying apples or rice to trade, people could just use coins. But over time, coins also became heavy to carry around in large amounts. So paper money was invented. Now people could use their wealth in notes instead of big sack of metal. Fast forward today, most people don't even use paper money anymore. Now we use bank cards and phones to pay instead. You can buy things online, send money to people, and even pay by tapping your smartwatches. Technology has completely changed how we use money over time. It makes it faster and easier to buy and sell things nowadays. Now, think about the last time your family bought something. Did they pay with cash, a card, or by phone? Now just put an answer in the chat. So, do you pay with cash, a card, or by phone?
Phone card. Somebody said by debit card, phone and card. Okay.
Yes, that's exactly. So that is because technology has changed how we use money, and that is what we will talk about next. So, budgeting is how we use our money. When we say how technology has changed how we use money now, it means that we just use our cards, we use debit cards, smart cards, we just pay using our phones. There is a code in our phone or maybe installed in the card that we use. It tells the seller that we have money in our account and that we can use that money to buy things. Now, these are some of the images of how banks use technology. So, like 10 years ago, if people wanted to take money out of their bank, they had to go inside the bank and speak to someone. Then in 1900s, a special machine was invented. We now call it as ATM. ATM let people take out cash anytime without going inside the bank. They follow a special code to check if you have enough money before giving you cash. Now, if your account is empty, the ATM won't let you take out any money. Then came online banking. Now, people didn't even need to go to an ATM anymore. They could check their bank from their computers or phones. App made it easy to see how much money you have. You can pay bills or even send money to a friend using just a bank application. Now we have a budgeting and spending tracker apps. These apps help people to see where their money is going. Now, if you spend too much on snacks, the app might just warn you that you need to slow down. All these tools, ATM, banking apps, and spending trackers, they all use code to work. Now, did you know that there are apps that can help people save money? Have you ever used such app?
Have you or your parents ever used a track spending app? What about your teachers? Maybe they've done that as well. Oh, somebody said no, we spend all of our money. Oh, yes, a few parents have.
Yes, so that's why we use a budgeting app. Sometimes we don't know and we just spend all our money. So when we have a budgeting app, it helps us to keep track of our money that we can save to buy something, maybe a toy, maybe a book. So we will talk about what a budgeting app is. So budgeting app help people track how much money they earn, spend, and save. These apps are like a personal money manager that helps people plan their spending so they don't run out of money too quickly. For example, if someone gets £10 a week, the app can help divide that money into different sections. They can say that £5 are for saving, £3 are for small treats, £2 is for something fun like a game or toy. Some budgeting app also use what we call today as artificial intelligence to help. So what AI does is it looks at your spending habits and suggests ways to save more money. If someone is spending too much on snacks, the app might just send a money message like you have spent a lot of money on sweets this week. Maybe save a little for later. These apps also use like charts and graphs to show where your money is going. If someone is spending too much on games, the app might recommend setting a spending limit so they don't use all their money too fast. Budgeting apps make managing money easier by helping people see how much they have left and what they are spending the most on and how they can save better. So, we have learned a lot today. Coding is everywhere in finance, from ATMs to banking apps and even budgeting tools that help people spend wisely. Technology has made managing money easier, but it has also changed the way we think about money. Years ago, people only had coins, but now we can pay with just a tap on our phones. And in the future, money might become completely digital. Maybe we won't have any bank cards anymore. Everything could be stored in an app, or maybe we can only use our fingerprints to pay. We never know how technology is changing. One thing is certain that coding will always be an important part of finance. It helps keep money safe, make your payment faster, and helps people track their savings. So whether we are using cash, cards, or something brand new in the future, coding will continue to shape the way we use money. Now, does anyone have any questions about coding in banking? What do you think money will look like in the future?
So here's your opportunity to ask Maha questions that you might have about money or working as a coder with money. Write them in the chat. So Wheatfield Primary says, do you code banking apps?
Yes, so that's the part of my day-to-day job. I write applications that can help people save their money for something like people come to us, they say that we want to buy a house in 10 years. So we create an application to help tell them like this is how much you will save to get a house in next 10 years. So this is what I do in everyday job.
6R Superstars asks, how does the value of money change over time?
So it depends on technology. Like technology is evolving today. 10 years ago, people used to go to banks to take out cash. Fast forward 10 years later, people they using cash barely. They just use their credit cards, they use their debit cards to pay. They don't use cash anymore. And if I say the change of in the value of currency, I would say the next thing we see is cryptocurrencies. That is how fast the value of currency change.
So Cedar Class has asked, have you developed any apps that we might know?
Yes. So there's one if you use Monzo or maybe your parents use Monzo, your teachers use Monzo, they give us like a tracking app. So that is one thing that I've done. I created a spending tracker app that can help people save their money and decide on how much they can save for something they are looking to buy.
So St. Jerome's class says, What do you think the next step in money spending will be?
I guess the next step will be how people save for something that they want. Even some people they use the spending tracker app, but still they don't get to save the money that they were aiming to save for. So the next step there will be AI managers that will help them to decide how much they need to save for their maybe pension. So this AI tool they will act like a personal assistant to them and will help them decide how to save money, give them some saving tips.
So, another question from New Valley. Is there a difference between a credit and a debit card, and what age can anyone get one?
Yeah, that's a very nice question. So, when you go to a bank, you open an account, they give you a debit card. By using a debit card, you can just spend the money that you have. But if you have a credit card, it's like a loan from the bank. They give you a credit that you can spend and you have to return it back to the bank after some time. For example, if you have a credit card and it has a credit limit of £100, you can just spend that money from your bank, from your credit card, and it's like a loan, so you have to return that money to the bank. And about the age, there is a age limit of yes 18 years. So once you get 18, then and if you have a good credit score, you can get credit card from the bank.
One teacher asks, what is it like to be a coder every day? Do you like it?
Yes, I love coding. So I started to code when I was 12 years old and I studied software engineering. And then I knew that this is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to help people save their money, to help them decide on how to make applications and how to work on something that can help you spend wisely. So that is when I joined a bank. And then now I just help people to improve their spending habits. And I love coding, yes.
Coty Primary School has said, how do you think the future will be for physical money?
For what I see, because I work in a bank and we get to see stats for finance and how the economy is going. So I think that going forward, there will be no physical money because many organizations they are just moving to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. In the future, I see that people will be trading digital currencies rather than cash money. I think there will be no physical money going forward. Yes.
So, our last question, why do different countries have different currencies?
To help them trade more effectively because I guess that's one factor that is good for the economy because if you all have same money then it won't be good for the economy of each country.
Right. So, thank you, Maha. We're going to just finish off with the last bit of our PowerPoint. We need more coders. We need you. We need all of you lovely people. The ability to control technology, just like Maha, is a very special skill to have and something that will be very important as you get older. Like, did you know that a lot of the jobs that you'll be applying for in the future and doing just don't exist yet because the technology's not been created yet. So it's really important that you have an understanding of technology. So by entering this competition and learning how to make a game, you can be on your way to being a super coder. Maybe this year you're making a game. Maybe next year you're creating an app just like Maha does. And after that, who knows? But changing the world sounds pretty good and pretty cool. Could you be the best coder at your school or in your area, maybe even in the country? Now, that is the end. However, if you would like to get involved, you need to ask your parents or ask your teacher if they'd like to get involved. They can go down to the bottom of this screen and I'll also put it in an email to them as well. They need to go to codingcompetition.org/register, and that's what they need to do to get you started. In that pack, there'll be ways for them to help you. So if they're new to coding as well, they can help you out as well. So thank you, everybody. This has been such a great British Science Week assembly, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Happy coding!